Dreadbox announces a new analog synthesizer and sequencer. Pioneer updates its Kuvo software. Spotify introduces a new DJ-related mixing feature. And Universal Audio gets one of my favorite preamps. Find out more coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. So boutique analog synth manufacturer Dreadbox has just announced a new piece of hardware they're calling the Medusa. Now this is not only an analog synthesizer, but gives you a grid of buttons to sequence as well. So not only can you sequence, but you can use it as an ARP. And if you've ever used any of Dreadbox's products or heard any of their products, you know that the quality of sound you get out of things is amazing. So to finally get one of their pieces with a sequencer attached, it's definitely a plus. In the past, they've only had analog synthesizers that are kind of standalone that you would plug, a keyboard into, and you'd have to run that into your sequencer of your choice. But in this one, the sequencer is actually attached, so you can run it all in one piece of gear, which is really cool. And I like that they took the grid format of 64 pads that we're used to from things like the Launchpad and even the Ableton Push. So in this day and age, it's pretty much a very similar and very familiar way of sequencing sounds. The Dreadbox Medusa is slated to be out in May of this year, and I can't wait to see when it comes out and see how it functions. Pioneer DJ's Kuvo software has been out for quite a long time at this point, and it's kind of getting some adoption, but the majority of DJs that I know really don't mess with the Kuvo software. In the past, DJs could live post their mixes as they were going through the songs if they were using the correct record box, setup in the club, and the club had the correct setup. But now they've added a little bit more social features to make Kuvo even more enticing for DJs and club goers and venues to use as a way to combine and connect all three of those parties. So on the DJ front, now with Kuvo, you can post your mixes as long as they're posted on YouTube or Mixcloud. So what you would do is go ahead and post your mix to Mixcloud or YouTube, and then connect a post from Kuvo to show your audience that you've posted a new mix. Now this isn't as intuitive as having the mixes posted directly to Kuvo, but I do understand because that puts a lot of weight on what Pioneer would have to go ahead and develop themselves when there are services like Mixcloud and YouTube where tons of DJs post their mixes already. So to have this integration allows you to have all your mixes in one place, be it Mixcloud or YouTube, and then go ahead and cross-post it to Kuvo to have your audience there see your new mixes and what you've posted, and have them go ahead and interact with you on the Kuvo side. Now along with that, you still have the ability to go ahead and live post your mixes as they're going if you have the correct pieces of hardware in the venue that you're in. But for the most part, I don't think a lot of DJs and a lot of venues are going to be interested in that, and I think it's really smart on Pioneer DJ's part to go ahead and have this ability to go ahead and cross-post mixes from places that you would already post them, to go ahead and add it to your Kuvo profile. Music streaming giant Spotify is now testing an AutoMix feature. Now in the past, from things like iTunes and Spotify, you have the ability to just go ahead and have one song play and then fade out and then fade into the next song. This is a function that we've seen in media players and streaming services and music service for years now. But just like Serato had their Pyro software in the past, this new AutoMix feature from Spotify will go ahead and look at the phrasing of the outgoing song and the incoming song and actually try to beat match and mix those two. It's really interesting to see these kind of services offer this new feature where, instead of just having songs fade in and out in a playlist kind of way, actually have them mix and make sense, sort of like a DJ would do. Now, in my opinion, this is in no way a replacement for a DJ, just like I didn't think that Pyro was in any way a replacement for a DJ. But maybe if you're having a house party and you just want to have a playlist going on in the background and you don't really need a DJ there, or maybe you're a store and a retail space that needs some music playing and needs a consistent kind of beat going out through the day, this can make sense. Now you can load up a bunch of songs, and if you know Spotify, they have thousands and millions of tracks out there. So to have the ability to go ahead and beat match and phrase match is really interesting. I haven't tested it yet, but if you go ahead and look at your Spotify account, you can set it up and test this out now to see how it's working and if it works for you. I'm curious to see how they adapt this software and if they improve it in the future, because I'm sure that it's not going to get it 100% now yet, but with more time, having machine learning learn more about the music and more about phrasing, I'm sure it'll improve in the future. But it's really interesting to see, and I'll definitely be testing this out in the future. hardware manufacturer and software developer Universal Audio has just gotten one of my favorite mic pre's. Now they've finally come out with VST versions of classic Neve preamps. Now these are some of my favorite preamps, at least the hardware versions of them. When I used to work in studios in the past, they always sounded really warm and really nice, especially with vocals. So if you're, a singer or songwriter and you want something that's gonna really bring some, warmth to your vocal, I love the Neves for this. It definitely has a different sound from the SSL or any of the other pre's. I mean, each one of those have their own characteristics, but it's nice now that you can have this in software form. And because it's Universal Audio, the quality is gonna be spot on. Because it's developed to only work with their actual hardware, you're gonna get the best sound, and it's specifically tuned to work with the inputs that are on those audio interfaces. So if you've been in the market for an audio interface, this might be another reason why Universal Audio might be the choice for you. Or if you already own an Apollo or any other of the UA interfaces, this is just another reason why they are some of the best hardware manufacturers for audio interfaces and software developers around. So that's it for the news this week. So question of the day, do you have a Kuvo account set up? And if not, are you gonna set one up now that they've added these new features? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time.